Google search numbers for Netflix are down and piracy is up. Is Netflix dying? What's going to replace Netflix? And what does this mean for the industry and us, editors? Is all of the high-end work going to dry up if Netflix dies? Hello my friend, welcome to the video editing podcast from Unsplice. On the show you'll hear industry secrets and practical tips to help freelance video editors consistently earn over £300 per day as a professional, remote freelance video editor for content, commercials and documentaries. Now, long time ago in the days before Netflix, you'd come home from a hard day's work, you would grab the TV schedule, Baywatch at 7, your favorite talk show at 9. Your days were scheduled around the TV programs that you loved. Then Netflix happened. You could watch what you want, when you want, and with no commercials. Back in the day, I used to subscribe to a service called Love Film. This is before Netflix was the massive streamer it is. Now, before Netflix was the massive streamer it sent out DVDs in the mail. That was exactly the service it had. And we had the same thing in the UK, but it was called Love Film. I loved it. I would have a list of all the films that I wanted to watch. You'd send one back and they'd send you whatever was next on your list. I used to do it all the time. And then Netflix became what it is today, and it started to trickle out from the US. I remember hearing about it and going, this is amazing. Cannot wait for this to reach the shores of the UK. Main problem being, of course, that internet's pretty slow here, has been for years. It's just about going through a bit of a renaissance. We can now get fast internet, but for so long the internet in this country was abysmal, which meant streaming any kind of programs was just impractical. But then we got Netflix, and of course the rest of the world got Netflix as well, and it was amazing. I remember just watching these shows, streaming them live and thinking, this is the future. Well, of course, it was a huge success, and every single distributor followed suit. Everybody saw how successful Netflix was. Disney came in with theirs, Disney Plus. Discovery's got one, HBO, we've got BBC, we've got Channel 4 over here. Every single platform and distributor is having their own streaming platform. What does this mean? Well, it means someone has to push hard. Netflix went into massive amounts of debt for years just to push and come out on top in the streaming wars. They just wanted to be the household name for streaming platforms. And it worked. They became the global leader in streaming. But when all of the other platforms came out, all of the other streaming platforms, it kind of created this market fragmentation. I mean, nobody wants to subscribe now to 20 different services just so they can watch what they want to watch. It kind of feels like going back in time and paying for cable all again, except with more hassle because you've got more things, more subscriptions to juggle. It's getting a bit out of hand and it's getting a bit expensive. Now, the problem here is, and you know, of course, that explains why piracy is up. The problem with Netflix is the business model. And this is why I predict, this is my prediction for the industry, this is why I predict that Netflix is going to die. Certainly not going to be the behemoth that it is now. And something is going to come along and take its place. And I will share my prediction with you. Let's first talk about the downfall of Netflix and why I think it's going to die. Firstly, the business model. It's a publicly traded company, which means profits over quality. That share price needs to go up. That share price is the main metric that Netflix is working with. To keep the shareholders happy, they have to increase income and increase profit. And with that, we are pushing aside the wants and the needs of the customers. And we are pushing the agenda of profit. That is why we have found ads coming in. They've started pushing up the price, the subscription price of Netflix, now that they've become the streamer. They pushed the price up of it by a lot. And so they're now offering a cheaper ad-supported tariff. So ads are coming back in. But why are we paying to watch ads? That goes against everything every human is designed and wants. Nobody wants to pay for ads. So by doing that, they're kind of diminishing the value, the perceived value of the company. It's no longer this, incredible company that can't be touched. It's just a profit machine that clearly they don't care about their customers. And what's happening is Netflix is now starting to resemble the TV, traditional TV, that it dominated and that it eradicated, because we've got now ads forced upon you, and we don't have a wide selection of stuff to watch. We've only got what Netflix has. If you want to watch something that's from Disney, you have to go to Disney. If you want to watch something from Paramount, you have to go watch it on the Paramount streaming service. And so now we've essentially gone back again to how traditional was. That every channel, we've got the Disney channel, we've got the Netflix channel, we've got the Paramount channel, and you will have to subscribe to each channel if you want to watch that channel, programs from that channel. And of course, now we're being forced to watch ads on each of them, and they're all following suit. Disney now have a cheaper tariff with ad supported. But even still, those subscription prices are going to continue to rise. They've all found it really, really difficult as part of the streaming wars to find a profit, to make streaming profitable. So what are they doing? They're just increasing the price. And when you increase the price, people leave. People are tired of paying to watch ads. And so, as a result, Google searches for Netflix have come down. If you look at the Google search trends, you'll see how they went up. We're looking at a kind of a hill shape, where Netflix peaked, searches were up, and now we can see it going down. And if we look at Google searches for piracy, we can see the exact opposite. We've got a U shape where the peak for searches for Netflix, piracy was down. People are happy to pay for a service to watch content, just not an extortionate amount. And so piracy has now gone up recently. So people are turning back to piracy. People are turning back to pirated content. And here's the thing. More than 80% of global online piracy can be attributed to illegal streaming services. So people aren't really downloading torrents anymore as they used to. 80% of people who are participating in piracy are streaming. They're streaming these. So the appetite is there. People want to stream content. They want to stream films. They want to stream TV shows. The appetite is there. So Netflix is really kind of kicking themselves and shooting themselves in the foot here. So is Netflix really going to die? Well, Netflix does remain one of very, very few profitable streaming services. Like I said, it's really, really difficult for these streaming services to make a profit. They haven't quite figured it out. Netflix is kind of figuring it out, but at the cost of their own success. The stock is up 36% compared to last year, as of now, as of this recording of this podcast. That sounds good, right? For Netflix, but Netflix is no longer going to be reporting subscriber numbers from next year, from 2025. That is a big sign there. They've always reported subscriber numbers, and other services have done the same. It's been a kind of a good measurement, certainly for shareholders, to understand where they sit in the market, how successful they are. Well, what's happened is they've reached a plateau of subscriber numbers. They've kind of reached peak. There's only a certain number of people on the planet, a certain number with internet access fast enough to be able to stream. And an interest in predominantly English-speaking content. Of course, there is also non-English content on there as well, but you are quite limited. There's only a certain number of people that could possibly be interested in Netflix and afford it. And so they're not going to be reporting subscriber numbers from next year because if you look at them, they have plateaued or they're starting to plateau. Yet, the stock is up 36%. Why is that? Because they're pushing profit over subscriber numbers. So that if they reach peak subscriber numbers, yet they need to and they have to continuously increase the stock price, the only way that's going to happen is by increasing the amount of money per person. That means the cost of the service is going up, more ads are going to be served, your data is going to get harvested. However they can find ways to increase the amount of money received per subscriber is how they're going to do it. And what does that mean? Well, that's going to put subscribers off. Nobody will want to pay more than they currently are. Certainly if wage growth is stagnating, which it has been. And if you look at the viewer numbers, Netflix is of the TV viewership. This is in the United States. So in the United States, in May 2024, Netflix has 7.6% of all TV viewership. So of all of the hours taken from the US, averaged out, 7.6% of those are spent watching Netflix. But that is not top. And here's my prediction of who is going to replace Netflix. It's been here all along, right under our noses, because Netflix has 7.6% of all TV viewership. At 10% of all TV viewership in the US in May 2024 is YouTube. And we're not just talking any old random YouTube here. This is YouTube on the TV, only specifically on TV. So people who use their TVs to watch anything, 10% of those hours are spent watching YouTube compared to 7.6 on Netflix. Because with YouTube, you can watch exactly what you want, when you want, for free. All of those things are exactly what we wanted as subscribers to Netflix in the early days. We want to be able to watch exactly whatever we want, when we want. And obviously the best price, any price, free is the best price. Certainly better than whatever Netflix is going to charge you, certainly as the price increases. And you can watch as niche content as you want on YouTube. You know, whatever your niche is, it's there. There are content creators making that specifically for you. And I know what you might be thinking. Well, isn't it just cat videos and hype editing? Not anymore. Not anymore. You see, the generation that grew up with YouTube in their pocket, in their face, everywhere, is Gen Z. Gen Z have grown up now. They are not young teenagers. During their early teens, they were interested in hype editing. And, YouTube was going through an experimental phase. But now Gen Z has grown up. And now that they're older, so have their tastes grown up. There's been a tremendous shift from fast-paced content to deep, meaningful stories. Even Mr. Beast. So Mr. Beast said this year, he said, "This past year, I've slowed down our videos, focused on storytelling, let scenes breathe, yelled less, more personality, longer videos, etc. And our views have skyrocketed. My fellow YouTubers, let's get rid of the ultra fast-paced, overstim era of content. It doesn't even work." And so even the biggest YouTuber on the planet is emphasizing story over quick attention-grabbing clips. It's no longer about fast-paced, overstim, cat clips. The viewers want great stories. And so YouTube is growing. It's kind of morphing. It's turning into this really, really mature place for storytelling, great content. if you look at some of the, I mean, it's all free, but pretty much. But if you look at some of the content, the production level of some of these things is incredible, absolutely fantastic. And it works for everybody. You know, the creators are earning ad revenue. They're also earning sponsorship, etc., etc. There are ways to make a living creating YouTube content. And from the audience's perspective, it's free. That's the best price there is. Let's look at some more statistics that kind of back this hypothesis up. Because on statista.com, in my research, I found that in 2022, there was a survey done. Netflix was not actually the most popular streaming platform. The most popular streaming platform was Amazon Video. And I'm assuming because everybody has Amazon Prime, as a result, so this is in the US and Canada, everybody has Amazon Prime because they just want free delivery. So it's kind of a bonus. You're getting so much with the Amazon Prime membership. A lot of people aren't signing up to Amazon Prime just for the streaming services. So I'll give that a pass. In second place, it says TV on demand, TVOD. The most popular one was YouTube movies and shows. So that's not the free version of YouTube. That's the stuff that you pay for on YouTube. YouTube movies and shows, where you can rent a title. More than Netflix. Isn't that astounding? People would much rather pay for one or two things. Pay for the show that they really, really want to watch on YouTube than rather pay a subscription to Netflix, which costs more. And it's not the content. It's, you know, they kind of get whatever's coming to them, whatever Netflix has. Fine, I'll put it on, I'll watch it. No, why not? So people are willing to pay for valuable content. Good example, in May of 2024, I went to the media production and tech show, that's it, in London at the Kensington Olympia. And I went to a talk. It was a talk about AI in post-production. And it's fascinating. It was done by History Hit. I don't know if you've heard of the channel, but History Hit is they make history content. They started off as a social media page, then they moved into YouTube videos, and then gradually they have built their own streaming platform called History Hit, which you can subscribe to. And they just make history stuff. And they're bringing in all sorts of new technology. And I met Bill, and he was a fantastic guy, the lead editor there. Learned about their post-production process. And they're using AI in ways that more traditional media isn't, or they are scared to do. And I've worked, that's my background, working in traditional media, documentaries and commercials. And a lot of them are scared of AI. They don't want to use it. But these guys are pushing the technology, they're using it and creating this original content. It really, really works for documentaries, the kind of documentaries they're making. And History Hit is making such good content. They were bought out in 2020 by a larger company, by the Little White Lies company. They have such a strong and passionate subscriber base. I think they've got 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube, but they have a streaming platform. You pay monthly to stream on your TV. It's an app. And it really, really goes to show that people want niche, high quality content, not the kind of broad content that you get from Netflix. And so, what does that mean? If Netflix dies and YouTube takes its place, what does that mean for video editors? What does that mean for our industry? Where do we sit? And, is there going to be a boundary? Is the line going to blur between content editor and high level or broadcast production editor? Well, over the last 18 months, everyone in the industry is obviously aware that work has dried up. It's been pretty monstrous. A clash of so many things, including the economy, marketing budgets getting slashed, the strikes in America. all came to head and has dried up all of the work in the post-production industry. Major channels like Channel 4 in the UK, BBC 3, they're really, really struggling to make a business. They're struggling to survive. Channel 4 is on the brink of bankruptcy. They're possibly going to get bought out by the government. ITV is the only channel, one channel of all of them, who's actually profitable in the UK. And I imagine the landscape is similar in other countries across the globe. So if all of these traditional channels are dying out, it seems to me like the writing's on the wall. This is all going to come to a head at some point. It's going to implode. And that's bad news. That's bad news for us. It's bad news for the industry. It's bad news. There's a lot of editors out there right now who are out of work because there's more supply than there is demand. So how can we survive? Well, if the niche content that's being made on YouTube, but let's say YouTube does trump Netflix, well, the thing that links all of the most successful channels, including History Hit and all of the other channels making bank out there, is storytelling. They are all focused on storytelling. Even Mr. Beast has said storytelling is the key now. And so if you really want to ensure your survival in the future, in the industry implosion, then you really need to master storytelling. If you're looking for some help with your storytelling, Unsplice does offer some programs to help you improve your storytelling. But that really is a must. It's non-negotiable now. With the rise of AI, as video editors, if you don't have a strong foundation in storytelling, you'll lose your job to AI. This is all going to come to a head at some point very, very soon. So please be on your toes, prepare yourself, master storytelling if you want to future-proof your job. Explore working with YouTube creators. And of course, you want to look at channels who are making original niche material, and make sure you spend your time learning new techniques. Don't sit on your laurels. I've been cutting this way for this long. No, that is exactly how you go extinct. With the rise of AI will not replace video editors. What will replace video editors are video editors who use AI, because they'll be able to work faster. AI needs prompting. It needs somebody to QC it. That's exactly what an editor is. We create content, we QC it, we iterate. Let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. We're iterating on the timeline. It's the same with AI. AI is never going to get it right first time. So you need somebody to iterate and command it. That's a video editor. So make sure you learn new techniques, adapt and thrive in the evolving media landscape, and you will have a long and prosperous career in post-production. If you're wondering how Unsplice can help you, head to unsplice.com/help, answer a few questions, and you'll learn exactly how Unsplice can help save your career. All right, thank you very much for listening. Let me know in the comments, what do you think is going to happen? Is Netflix going to die?